Joining us now is Souraya Faas, who was apparently a write-in U.S. presidential candidate and who appears on RT regularly. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. So, look, I can completely understand having disputes with the U.S. government, European governments, even the Ukrainian government. But why would you assist in Putin's propaganda effort?
It's not propaganda. The problem is I've always said that the media here in the United States is the fourth branch of government because it moves public opinion. And we've seen it every single day. I mean, we've had the same mandate, different faces here in the United States for over 30 years. Nothing has changed, no matter who's in office, whether it's a Republican or Democrat. But it always seems to be the same narrative. To think that we're in the United States where we supposedly have a democracy, we have freedoms, freedom of speech, why are we being censored? Why are they so adamant in censoring RT if it's not because they're actually one of the ones that are portraying the truth? Because you don't see that happening here in the United States, in our own national media.
It's not being censored. It's actually still widely available, which actually surprises me. But let me ask you, when I'm looking at some of the satellite footage, for example, of 40 miles of Russian troops preparing to enter Kyiv, that's certainly not something you're going to see on RT. Is there a reason that they don't want to actually show that Kyiv's about to be attacked?
I mean, you have to realize what's happening right now. It's a military operation. It's not an invasion. Now, they're pushing for it. This whole thing wouldn't have happened if it's not the countries adamant on having it join the Ukraine and bringing in, you know, more, what do you call it, Eastern push towards it, you know, because what Russia is doing, in essence, is more self-defense. They bombed, from what I understood, were 6 bio labs that were put in there, that were in the Ukraine. So that's obviously could have been of harm, not just to the Ukraine, but to, not just to Russia, but to everybody.
When you say it's your understanding, where are you getting this information from? I assume you're getting this from the Russians, right?
No, it's not from the Russians. You have to realize not everybody has time to do their own research and to find things. Everybody is going, especially the Americans, by what they hear, what it is that they're being listening to here in the United States, whether it's social media. I speak several languages. I don't just listen to the American news. I listen to the Arabic news. I listen to the Spanish. I also understand Italian and French. You know, you have to be able to do your own research to question things. That's what I ask everybody that you have to do. You really have to question and look at both sides of the issue. This is an ongoing issue that's been going on. This isn't something new, you know, and what has me concerned is the fact that they keep on pushing this narrative as if they're wanting war to happen, and nobody wants this war. And when you take a look and see who's supporting the Ukraine, you have George Soros, you have the Clintons, you have a lot of people that are supporting, and that alone kind of makes anybody question. And don't forget even if that Biden has his own self-interest and his own ties to the Ukraine. To me, analyzing this, having the Ukraine join NATO could just be his way of having returned favors.
Right. Okay. But so Ukraine hasn't joined NATO, first of all. And I know that George Soros and the Clintons are sort of great talking points, right? But it's not George Soros and the Clintons that we're focusing on, right? Because it's all of the United States, largely. It's conservatives and liberals alike. It's almost every country in Europe at this point is now joining and saying, you know what? Wherever you're getting your information, and I've got to believe it's from the Russians because you didn't answer my question about where you're getting your information.
No,
you said you're watching a lot of different networks. I don't have any contact
with the Russians.
Is that right?
Exactly.
I
do.
I'm curious about that.
And the thing is that you analyze, when I take a look and see, because I've been following, and I follow the politics for a very long time, a lot of these images that they're taking are taken from the Syrian propaganda they tried to push. A lot of this is taken from
the ones
all
that
these different types of films that they're doing.
Right. Here's the good news. Here's the good news is I know where the source is of the videos that we use, and I can tell you that they're not from the Syrian war, okay? And the satellite images of the 40 miles of Russian troops preparing to enter Kyiv are not from the Syrian war either. At what point would you be convinced that this is a really bad, dangerous thing that Vladimir Putin is doing, and for you to say, you know what, I'm done with RT, I'm done playing the propaganda game? What would have to happen for you to feel that way?
Well, let me tell you something. For me to say they would have to actually sit there and negotiate. And what I mean by negotiate is that they have to go back to the previous treaties that they did, not something right now that they're going to come up with. I mean, if you take a look and see, these are things that have been avoided this whole entire time. This is escalated. This isn't something that just happened from one day to the next. And Putin decides, you know what, I want to go into the Ukraine just because, you know, I want to take it over.
What could possibly justify?
Their president, the Ukrainian president, who's a comedian, went hiding in Germany.
Right.
I mean, where was he from the beginning of this? Until we called it out, and a lot of people did. He came back and tried to play hero now.
Oh. Well, so he was able to get from Ukraine to Germany and back into Ukraine in that amount of time. That's amazing that he was able to do that, right? See, listen to the nonsense you're spewing. Where are you getting that from?
I don't understand. You have me here on your show because you want to interrogate me? I don't get it.
Yes.
If you want me to talk about my reasons and my points, I'm telling you what my reasons are. I'm telling you because I'm afraid for the United States and what it is that's happening here. But what question? What exactly is it that you're asking me? I'm answering the question based from what I understand and what you're telling me. Now, what you're telling me is you're talking about the RT and you're talking about it as being propaganda. What do you see CNN is doing? What do you talk about the white helmets and that they've been fabricating all that stuff that's been going on? You're going to tell me that's true? They got an award, an Oscar award. What does that tell you? And now they want to take them into the Ukraine so they can go ahead and film some more videos?
Okay. I'll be very clear. Let me ask it again, and I'll ask it slower this time. Where did you get the information that Zelenskyy left and went to Germany and was able to get back into Ukraine during this war?
It was in the news. You didn't hear it yourself? He went into a meeting to Germany.
It was in the news, of course.
Yes.
It was in the news. It was on the Russian news. It was on RT.
No, it was here in the United States. You don't Google? You don't Google? You don't see any other news sources?
Sorry. You mean the fact that it was on the internet somewhere?
Is there something else you'd like to ask me? Is there anything else you'd like to ask me?
Yes, there's one other question I'd like to ask you. You are in a very pricey area of Miami Beach. My understanding is you're a teacher. Are you paid by the Russian government?
Why would I be paid by the Russian government? I'm a pricey area. What do you mean? Just because I'm here, I'm downtown.
What I mean is that
downtown.
I think you are. I worry. I don't know. I worry you are a Russian agent who is being paid by the Russians to appear on Russian television as an American, supposedly giving objective analysis, and it concerns me. But tell me I'm wrong. I mean, again, I don't know that.
No, but I wonder if the Clintons are paying you to do the show.
Yes, and George Soros too, right? And George Soros.
I guess.
Yes. All right.
I guess.
Soraya, you know, I don't know that we're going to be able to agree, but I hope that you reconsider as an American first.
Reconsider as an American. All Americans need to reconsider and see that our freedoms, we're losing them slowly because you're having all these people take over in the name of what? Democracy? Who's democracy? Everybody has their own notion of democracy. This is a republic. The United States is a republic.
Right. That's a changing of the topic from what's happening in Ukraine. But I understand why you changed the topic, because that makes sense. If I were you, I would change the topic as well. Souraya Faas. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.